So here at the Digital DJ Tips School, we teach DJing with our 5-step formula. Everything we do is based around this. It is the basis of our book, Rock the Dance Floor. It's the basis of our flagship course, the Complete DJ course, which for many years now has taught tens of thousands of DJs how to do this. And so we are convinced that this is the right way to teach DJing. If you're stuck in your DJing, if you're a newcomer and you're overwhelmed by all the things that you're meant to be doing to improve and you don't know how to improve, or if you're just intrigued as to how we go about it here, I'm going to explain it very quickly in this video. I'll talk to you about the 5 steps. So the way we came across these steps was back in the day when I was DJing professionally. I noticed that there were some DJs that I thought were really good, and I couldn't understand why they weren't getting the success. And there were also DJs who weren't very good. And I was wondering, well, how are they managing to kind of like get paid and get gigs? And the ones who I think are quite good aren't. And what I realized is that, by the way, if you work in an office, I bet you know people in your office who you wonder the same things about. There's probably a code they've cracked as well. But anyway, back to DJing. So I kind of realized that they were either trying too hard, putting too much work into just 1 or 2 areas of their DJing and neglecting the other areas, or they were not understanding that it's important to do all these things in order to succeed. There'll be something they really didn't want to do. They thought it was beneath them, or DJs shouldn't be doing that, or whatever. But whatever it was, they weren't doing one of the 5 things I'm about to tell you. So the good news is that if you do the 5 things I'm about to tell you, you don't have to be particularly great at any of them. You just have to be getting better, and you just have to have a baseline level at them. And you'll find that they all help each other. It's like a multiplier, and you'll just get better quicker, right? So these are a really, really powerful way of approaching your DJing. So the 5 areas of DJing, and we've revised them slightly. This is the new version of our book. At the time of recording this, this is coming out next week, actually. I'll put a link underneath where you can find out more about the book. But we've revised them ever so slightly for the book because it was 8 years ago I wrote the last version of this. DJ years are like dog years, right? So that's like half a lifetime ago, and things have changed. So we have changed them slightly, but the basis is the same. So the 5 areas are gear, music, mixing, performing, and success, right? So let's talk through what those 5 areas are now. The first area, gear, is the geeky stuff. It's the nerdy stuff. And the reason that you ought to understand the nerdy stuff is basic competence, because you are going to be expected to know the basic stuff about how everything plugs in, etc., but also to give you the confidence to play on anything. Because one rule of DJing is you might think that you're learning on a particular controller with a particular piece of software. And this is understandable because you go out there and you Google your piece of DJ gear and learn to DJ, and you'll come across people saying, I'll teach you to DJ on this or on that. But that's not how the DJ world works. If you start DJing in any way outside of your own home, you're going to be asked to do it on equipment that is not familiar to you. So if you understand the very, very basics of DJ equipment, and by the way, the basics are 2 things that can play music, something to mix them, speakers that the audience can listen to the music through, and headphones where you can hear something different. That's it. That is the basics. If you've got that, you can DJ. So if you understand the basics and you understand how they apply to all the different DJ systems, it puts you in a position to be confident to play on anything. We make DJs here at Digital DJ Tips whose skills are transferable to any kind of gear, also any kind of music, actually, which brings us on to the second of our 5 steps, music. So the thing with music is that it's very different being a DJ, the way you approach music, to the way someone like a record collector approaches music, or just a music fan. So I'm a music fan. I've you know, if I get into an artist, I want everything they've ever done, etc., etc. And I'm sure you know that feeling too. But with DJs, it's different. So the way we approach music has to be taught, because otherwise DJs go down the route of just gathering it all and then getting really lost really quickly. You need a system for hearing, long listing, short listing, buying, preparing, and then packing music for any gig. We call it the playlist pyramid. It's something that we talk about a lot in the book. But this system means that you will hear more of the world's music, more of the music that matters to your DJ sets. You'll make the right choices about that music, and then you'll prepare that music properly. So when you're playing your DJ sets, you look like the kind of DJ where the right tracks are just flying out onto the decks. They're not stuck there staring at their laptop, worried about what to play next. And they seem to know the right thing for the audience, for the people in front of them right now, which is just a great position to be in. And that can be taught. but you can't reverse engineer that by watching a DJ playing. You need to be shown how to do it. So that's what the music part of our training is about. So the third part is where most DJs want to start, and where most people who say they teach DJs try and start. And it's a mistake, because unless you've got the first two, the gear and the music, unless you understand the gear and you've got the music to play, the third one doesn't make any sense, which is, of course, mixing. This is what you do with that music on that gear, right? So the big mistake people make with mixing is they spend too long trying to perfect every potential type of mix that they could do. And this is driven by the YouTube, the TikTok mixes and transitions and mashups and so on that you see, where people are doing really out there stuff, and you think, oh, until I can do that, I can't even tell people I'm a DJ. I don't want to go out there and do it. That is really wrong. So the problem with that is twofold. One, you know, the 80-20 rule, where they say 20% of the effort will get you 80% of the result. With DJing, it's like a 7-100 rule. And that means like 7 transitions will get you 100% of the result. You can literally play any DJ set anywhere for the rest of your life, knowing, I mean, I'd argue 5, but definitely 7. All 7 are in our book with videos, actually, so you can go and watch me doing those and explaining them to you. You don't need an awful lot of transitions in order to play competently in front of other people in order to DJ. So it's a mistake to think you do, and it's a mistake to put off that next step, which we're about to come on to, by thinking you've got to learn more than that. But also, this is the big, big fundamental error. And again, it's driven by watching other DJs doing stuff. And this is, DJs who aren't experienced make the mistake of looking for the transition before the song. Okay. So you're playing a song and you think, what do I have that I can mix easily into this song? And so you go and look for a song that will mix easily into that song. And the mistake, which is corrected by the 4th of our 5 steps, which I'm about to get onto, is to not flip that round and say, this is the song I want to play next. How am I going to mix it in? And so you choose the song first. It's so important that you choose the song first. Otherwise, you're never going to come across as anything other than, well, at best, an average DJ, at worst, a boring one to your audiences, because you're tied by your technical skills rather than by what a DJ should be doing, which is playing the right song next, right? So the way we teach mixing is, look, song first and then transition second. So it's a crucial thing. So that brings us on to the 4th of our 5 stages, which is performing. This is getting out there. This is the outcome of mastering the gear, getting the music, and learning some mixes. This is when you actually do the DJing. And frankly, you're not a DJ until you do this. So look, I'm not saying everyone should be out there playing in nightclubs every weekend. Of course not. DJing is much bigger than nightclubs nowadays. DJing is every age group, every kind of person. We know that. And actually, the 5th step is where we talk about that. But you do have to play in public at least once. It's like letting your dog have puppies once. You know, it's what they're on this planet for. Let them do it once, whatever. You've got to play out once. And the reason you've got to play out at least once or twice is that you learn more in one performance in front of other people than you will learn in a year of practicing mixing and DJing in your home. It's just the truth, because having real people there is what DJing's about. DJing's a team game. You can't learn football by kicking a ball around or throwing a ball against the wall in your backyard. You need to be out there with other people. DJing is about the transfer of energy from DJ to audience. If there's no audience, there's no transfer of energy, there's no DJ. That's where you learn that it's really important that you pick the song first and then pick the mix. That's when you learn how to program music, how to start understanding the right track for the people in front of you right now. You'll get none of this in your bedroom. So making the mistake of sitting at home for weeks or months or years saying, I'm not ready, I'm not ready, I'm not ready, is something that the 4th step, the 4th way we teach, gets you past. I taught my daughter the very, very basics of DJing, and she played in front of her 10-year-old classmates for like 3 hours. She's only ever DJed in public once. That's when she did it. And I think she's more of a DJ than a lot of people who we talk to, the keyboard warriors in our forums and stuff, who say, you know, I'm not ready to play out, I did this and that. And all the problems I can see them having would be fixed if they just played that one gig. And I can see it. I saw it in my daughter's face when she came back as a 10-year-old from playing this party. The way her eyes look, the way she talks to me about it, I thought, you're a DJ now, you get it. And she's only done it once, but she did the first steps and then went out and actually played, obviously with a lot of help from Dad. Very proud of her. Right, that brings us on to step number 5, success. Because my daughter has had the DJ success that she wants. She's a successful DJ. If you said, can you do it? She'd be like, yeah, and I love it. And I'm a DJ. Great. She's played once in front of a room of 10-year-olds. Success means so many different things nowadays. I mentioned it a second ago. It's much bigger than the club in 2024 and forwards. DJing has blown itself way out of the nighttime economy and become something like you walk past a music shop and look in the window, and I guarantee you're going to see a controller or some decks or a mixer alongside the saxophone and the drums and the bass guitar, etc. It is now mainstream. Every age, every type of person. DJing is something that it's almost like we want to touch our music. We want to play with our music. We don't want to just passively put it on. So success is very, very different depending on who you are. And so, look, you might want to play private parties. You might want to make podcasts. You might want to just play in a local bar. You might want to do events like parties or birthdays or weddings and that kind of thing. You might want to live stream, or you might want to mix the music you've always loved and share it on mixing platforms. You might want to do virtual DJing in Second Life and places like that. You might want to blog about DJing. You might even want to teach. It's the best way to learn. You might want to become a DJ producer. And of course, you might want to go touring the world. But whether it's mixtapes or producing or just playing for fun at home, success is something that is different for every single person. And it's a very, very, very broad church, DJing. So when we get to our fifth step, the way we teach at Digital DJ Tips, we cover everything I just said. Every single type of DJing I just talked about, we have training for here at the school. So that once you've mastered the first 4 steps, once you've got the gear, once you've understood the gear, once you've got the music, once you've learned some basic mixes, and once you've played out at least once or twice in front of other people, and it could just be your friends at a party at home or whatever, once you've done that, once you can kind of say, you can have that look in your eye that I saw in my daughter's eyes, I'm a DJ now. Once you're there, we really, really want to be with you for the rest of your journey and take you in any of those directions that I just talked about in success. So there are your 5 steps: gear, music, mixing, performing, and success. Again, they are all in the book. There's a link underneath about how to get your copy of this in the 2nd edition for 2024. It's also the way we teach DJing in our flagship course, the Complete DJ course, which for many, many years now has followed this 5-step formula to teach people how to DJ. So do check that out as well on the digitaldjtips.com website. Again, there's a link underneath to that. Meanwhile, from me, Phil, here in my living room, actually, not in the studio today, get good, get out there, make the moments. I'll see you again very soon.